Hi, everybody. It is November 16, 2024. I hope you're all doing well. Hello, Analog Synth Player and BMCC, Andrew Cruz, Alicia DeMoss, James B. Hi. Angelos, Rage Against the Machine, Oracle 11, Barb in Ohio, Jay, hey, Julio, hey, Shauna Howard, hi. Oh boy, Marlo, hello. So let's go right to radar. Let me clue you guys into not much happening. Montana, yeah, boy, what are they doing to Montanans with these extremely low frequencies? Look at the pie cutouts for the precipitation in Washington. Always. And this is a very strange looking weather front. Is it a weather front? Who knows? What is this? Well, it's a very thin line of, well, it looks like precipitation, but I don't think it is. And it's being evaporated pretty quickly. Look at Doppler radar. Oh, Doppler radar. Always working somewhere. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear that we've got extremely low frequencies when you see these very defined cutouts of the precipitation, extremely low frequencies. And anybody with a working brain cell would ask, why do they have extremely low frequencies cutting through the precipitation? Okay, no severe weather alerts, which is good, right? But I want to show you because once again, our forecast has changed. No Sarah is coming. That's good, but and I'm starting at midnight, November 18. The thunderstorms for the panhandle of Texas come at 6 a.m. on the 18th, heading for, oh, wow, explosion by noon for severe weather, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas. Noontime, November 18, and it continues on Oklahoma, Kansas, into the corner, northeast corner of Nebraska, 6 p.m., November 18. Wow, it looks like like a mushroom of rain all the way from, well, it's way down here in the Gulf, going all the way on up. November 19, midnight. Thunderstorms for you guys up in Iowa and Nebraska into Minnesota. But I want you to take a look at what begins to develop down here. In Louisiana, Louisiana, New Orleans area, this is at 6 a.m. on the 19th. And wow, another explosion. New Orleans into Mississippi, Alabama, panhandle of Florida. This is the 19th at noon time. Tuesday. Those are looking like pretty bad. Well, let's just call it a severe weather event coming. And it continues. And we've got the panhandle of Florida, just the corner there, and Mississippi, Alabama, into Georgia. Thunderstorms for you guys, 6 p.m. on the 19th. And then it just develops into a nice, neat little ball. Severe weather in the Panhandle. And South Alabama, it's not looking good. One would think it might be a hurricane, but no. So this is at midnight, November 20. And then we have more severe weather in the Gulf. What will it do to the coast, to the west coast, North Florida? Could you have a surge? Perhaps. But still in the Gulf, not really coming inland. And this is the 20th at noontime. Then you have some severe thunderstorms in central Florida on the 20th at 6 p.m. And then voila, heads on out. But the new is this starting on the 19th at 6 a.m. and exploding by noontime. Be very careful, guys. I'm putting the link in. You can just, check out the forecast yourself, bookmark tidbits, tropical tidbits, as well, the radar site. Both links are in the chat. Be careful, because severe weather seems to be getting an awful lot of people all over the world. This is Honduras.
Tropical storm Sarah made landfall on November 14th near the Honduras-Nicaragua border, bringing sustained winds of 72 kilometers per hour and heavy rainfall, with up to 760 millimeters of rain expected in parts of northern Honduras, posing serious risks of flooding and landslides. Sarah has already affected more than 20,500 people in Honduras. Authorities have put several departments on alert, with state offices and humanitarian networks prepared to provide support. In Belize, authorities and UN teams are actively preparing for the possible arrival of Sarah in the next 72 hours. Other countries in Central America are also assessing the possible effects of the storm. Previously, Sarah caused heavy rains in Panama and Costa Rica, both already affected by heavy rains from Rafael in early November. The continued rains prompted evacuations in Costa Rica and a declaration of emergency in Panama. Sarah is the 18th storm of the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season, which was forecast to produce between 17 and 25 named storms. Tropical storm Sarah is currently affecting Central America, with Honduras facing the threat of severe flooding following the storm's impact on November 14th, approximately 160 kilometers west-northwest of Cabo Gracias a Dios, on the Honduras-Nicaragua border. The storm has brought heavy rain to the region, with up to 762 millimeters of rain forecast for parts of northern Honduras, likely resulting in flash flooding and dangerous landslides. Forecasts also indicate rainfall in northwestern Honduras, including the flood-prone Valle de Sula region. Authorities in Honduras are already reporting approximately 20,500 people affected, 3 people missing, and 570 people evacuated. At least 37 communities are cut off, about 2 along the northern coast of Colombia in late October, and 2 recent earthquakes.
All right, I'm putting the link in. You can check out more of this destruction for those in that region of the earth. The link is in the chat. So, earthquake in Iran. Link is in the chat if you want to check out more destruction. Wow, we sure do have quite a lot going on. And the impacts, what people actually suffer, the consequences, boy, it goes on and on and on. And okay, the Northeast wildfires, brush fires, this one I've shown they reignite in Upper Manhattan. They're in New York. They're in New Jersey. They were in Connecticut. Now we have another one, a residential area of North Haven, Connecticut. Something's up here.
Then I walked out and I saw across the street from me, just on fire.
A brush fire rips through the woods in North Haven, threatening nearby homes. Good evening. Thanks for joining us here for the news at 11. I'm Keisha Grant.
And I'm Mike Heideck. That fire is now contained, but with these dry and windy conditions, firefighters are not taking any chances. Crews will remain on scene on Upper State Street overnight just to make sure this does not rekindle.
That is where we find NBC Connecticut's Kevin Geis joining us live after speaking with neighbors. Kevin, what did they tell you?
Hey, Mike, Keisha, good evening to you both. The neighbors described a pretty scary scene playing out just feet from their front.
My dog reacted to the sirens. And then you hear the sirens basically stop outside your house.
Fire crews shutting down Hartford Turnpike Friday for this.
Then I walked out and I saw across the street from me, just on fire.
Another brush fire sparked in North Haven between Hartford Turnpike and Upper State Street. Doris Ganders couldn't believe after weeks of hearing about brush fires around Connecticut, one was so close to home.
I said to a friend, and I said, I cannot believe this is happening. When you literally this morning talked about it.
According to the North Haven deputy fire chief, the fire consumed about 3 acres. And while homes surround the wooded area, none had to be evacuated.
Obviously,
this is so weird, you know, having grown up in New York and lived in the Northeast for most of my adult life, to see this happening. Oh, it's the drought. It's because it's dry. Okay. All right. I don't know what to say. Man, there's so much going on that people need to question, that's for sure. The role of climate change in an unusual outbreak of wildfires in the Northeast. I will post the link. If you want to listen to lies, go ahead. Go ahead. But I don't want to. PBS, Public Broadcast Services. And okay, everything's climate change. The fires in Ecuador, I got this from the subscriber that I have in Ecuador, where the fires are. And you want to talk about what people have to go through in other countries to put out the fires. So the helicopters 3 days ago say too much smoke and left. Today, supposed to send again. We don't believe it. There are 2 helicopters now working in a park to the north by Cuenca. But I just learned Jonathan, who is a friend of hers, Jonathan went up 3 times last night to drop people equipment and food. When the road ends, everyone still has to walk 4 hours up the mountain to the firefighters, and then 4 hours down to get more supplies. Had no idea they had to walk so far with the food and water and supplies on their backs. And she gave him $300 to buy electrolyte powder, vanilla for energy, batteries for the headlamps, food and water. Lost a house last night in San Pedro. There are 3 fires, many more all around here. Can't tell anymore because smoke's so thick, the sun is a red ball. So, yeah. and they do it. You know, that's what I hear from my subscriber in Ecuador. The Ecuadorians are, well, they're a hardy group, and they do what's necessary. But here they are protesting the power cuts in Ecuador.
Another day, another protest in the streets of Ecuador. And demonstrators say this is just the beginning. An energy crisis in the South American nation is causing power cuts of up to 14 hours a day and is driving residents to the streets on an increasingly regular basis.
As social leaders, we're debating a possible social uprising. It's needed because we can't take it anymore. The government is not solving the blackouts. There are no jobs, no security.
Ecuador has been hit by its worst drought in more than 60 years. As a result, the country lacks enough water to run its hydroelectric power system, which supplies most of the national grid. President Daniel Noboa, who took power a year ago, says the situation is the result of climate change and years of underinvestment and mismanagement by previous governments. But his critics say his government had plenty of warning about the current crisis and are demanding his resignation.
Companies and factories are sending workers home because there is no power, so my children are losing their jobs.
The situation is rapidly becoming desperate.
For me, having a supply of energy is extremely important. I depend totally on my oxygen concentrator, and I'm always worried about whether we are going to have power cuts or not, so that I can leave.
Last week, the country's private hospitals demanded that the government exclude them from the rolling blackouts, saying they were struggling to remain operational on generators alone. The energy crisis is also exacerbating a crippling economic situation, with businesses losing an estimated $7.5 billion over the last 2 months. For many, the darkness has also renewed fears of a spike in violence, as the once peaceful country has suffered a wave of gang violence in recent years. President Noboa insists the government is doing everything it can to restore power, but warned the situation is unlikely to improve until the new year. Julia Galliano, Al Jazeera.
And what's going to happen after the new year? Well, if it runs on hydroelectric, then they're going to have massive amounts of rainfall, right, to fill that up. I should read one of the emails that I got from my subscriber. Yeah, a whole lot of politics going on here and a whole lot of lies. Yeah, it's the climate change. Okay. And Spain protesters call for leaders to step down after deadly flooding. Another protest. I did show, I think last week, that there was protests and a whole lot of Spaniards were going, fighting the police because of what happened in Valencia. And this is another one.
Spain still picking up the pieces after deadly flooding, killing more than 200. More than a dozen others still missing in one of the country's worst natural disasters in modern history. Now, Spaniards taking to the streets, demanding Valencia province President Carlos Mazón resign. Over what people there say is the mismanagement of the deadly floods that pummeled the eastern and southern coastal regions of Spain.
He is not apt for the job. He's an incompetent who has led us for a death count, a death roll of more than 210 people. He can only blame others for his incompetence.
Mazón apologizing today for the slow response. Quiero pedir disculpas. But not stepping aside and defending his government's actions under the extreme circumstances. This latest protest coming days after another storm hit Malaga down the Mediterranean coast, the area getting 3 inches of rainfall, or what would normally be nearly a month's worth of rain in just over an hour, submerging the streets in water, according to the country's meteorological agency.
Otra de las vistas que tenemos aquí del río Guadalmedina son las 4:30 de la tarde. Y esto ya está.
The storm prompted the evacuation of just over 3,000 people, according to the region's government. They've since been permitted to return. The constant barrage leading to anger, frustration, calls for accountability, and revealing the simmering distrust for leaders amid a political divide in the country. After the first flood last month, residents of the worst affected city, Paiporta, attacked King Felipe's motorcade and pelted him with mud during his visit.
Apparently that mud was for the government officials and not the king, based on what I heard from somebody else on the ground in Valencia. So, yeah, but man, wow, what a difference Europeans are from Americans. They get out on the street, demand resignations, demand accountability. Sicily faces worsening water crisis as crucial dam shrinks. Sicily had massive flooding. Now they're experiencing a water crisis. Oh, well, here we go.
The Mediterranean island of Sicily is grappling with a worsening water crisis. The emergency is emphasising the urgency of global action on water security.
This used to be a dam that served 22 towns with much needed water. It is now near exhaustion.
We live in a mountainous town at 700 meters above sea level that has never had such extreme drought problems in the past.
The dam in Sicily only has the capacity now to serve 5 towns. Residents have limited access once every 7 days, sparking widespread frustration. The region has suffered months of below-average rainfall, with the Italian government declaring a state of emergency. It's led to the dam's dramatic depletion from 26 million cubic metres to just 1 million in 1 year.
By now, climate change has greatly reduced production from this type of source, so we have to tap the water table that feeds the springs.
It's climate change. Right, we had that conference again, COP29, and all the news, climate change, climate change, climate change. Floridians, the Tampa Bay Floridians, yeah, your water, you have your own crisis. Water quality after the storms and the red tide and a looming political shift. Yes, the political shift. Trump becomes president and, well, that affects your water, I guess. Oh, that's right. He's a climate change denier. The little kiddies in this country will believe all of the horseshit.
We have a red tide warning tonight. Signs are up right now at beaches across the Tampa Bay area. The latest red tide report shows low to medium levels detected along the coast from southern Pinellas County to Sarasota County. And you can see that represented right there with those orange and yellow dots. The report comes just weeks after back-to-back hurricanes in our area. And now environmentalists worry that Sarah could push offshore red tide blooms closer to the bay.
And that's one of the many concerns from water quality watchdogs. As 10 Tampa Bay's Chris Hurst explains now, they're now trying to push policymakers for change.
We need these conversations
at a brewery in St. Pete tonight
to leave places like this. So thank you so much for coming tonight.
Over pints of beer, the talk is about water.
Regardless of your political affiliation in Florida, we believe that you should be working towards a healthy Floridian environment.
Nonprofit.
Oh, yeah. That's a goal that should unite people. Healthy environment. But this has been going on for years. And I don't know if it's been going on for a while in Tampa Bay, but along the coast of Florida, the water, the red tides, the yada, 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 bacteria, you're defying scientists. Climate change debate heats up. Okay, so these Cullum, Keene, and Flickenstein, who was the moderator, had a debate, but listen to what, the science, it's in, man, it's in, okay? You don't need to debate it. Debating is a bad idea. This guy, Andrew Dessler of Texas A&M.
Have you debated anyone about this?
So I have I have not debated anybody about this. My feeling is that I won't debate the science. So the science is set. Earth. We're temperature's warming. Humans are cause.
Why wouldn't you debate the science?
Because the science has already been debated in the scientific system.
I understand that, but to the average person that gets confused and doesn't know whether or not you're correct or Steve Koonin is correct.
Yeah, so I think
a debate would be very beneficial.
I disagree with that entirely.
Yeah. Okay. So I will post. Oh, I can't. This is Zero Hedge, and YouTube doesn't like Zero Hedge. But yeah, Dave Cullum, chemistry professor at Cornell, believes much of the science to be bogus, along with thousands of other scientists. But I will, if you want to circulate it, if here they are debating. The science is not settled, but hey. And here, look at this. 6 states will make it impossible to buy a motorhome. What? Yeah, I said that. 6 states, California, New York, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Washington, Oregon, and Massachusetts. Well, because they're moving forward on stringent emissions requirements that would push motorhome diesel engines out of the market. Following California Air Resources Board, CARB, has amended its regulations and will require the manufacturers of motorhomes with a gross weight of 8,500 pounds to sell an increasing number of electric vehicles. Problem is, no RV manufacturer currently sells a heavy electric motorhome. So, get your motorhome if you're living in these states and you plan on buying one, get it now. New York City's new $9 congestion pricing toll, reintroduced by the governor, Hochul. The first time introduced, it was $15. Now it's $9. And, well, it's a cash grab for the government, help fund MTA upgrades, ease crowding and pollution on city streets. Hochul abruptly paused the program just before it was set to go into effect in June with a base rate of $15 because there was so much pushback. $15 a day? Yeah. If you go below 60th Street in Manhattan, this is New York's equivalent to the ULEZ in London. So she relaunched it with a lower fee, and just before Trump's administration has the opportunity to block it. Why would Trump block it? I don't fully understand that, but because he's a climate change denier. That's right. Critics argue the first in the nation toll, which was first approved by state lawmakers and Andrew Cuomo in 2019, is just a cash grab for the MTA that saddled New York City drivers with yet another fee. Cars will be tolled beginning at midnight, January 5. The standard passenger vehicle using an Easy Pass will be charged $9 per day, and that's in between 5 a.m. and 9 p.m. The base amount is set to increase to $12 in 2028. Motorcycles, $4.50. Small trucks and non-commuter buses, $14.40. Large trucks and tourism buses, $21.60. Taxis, black car drivers, 75 cents. Uber, Lyft, ride shares, $1.50. Toll is reduced by 75% during overnight hours between 9 p.m. and 5 a.m. to $2.25. Drivers without the Easy Pass will receive a bill via mail and pay an inflated toll amount, though not clear how much that will be. All areas below 60th Street, effectively all of Manhattan south of Central Park. How do you pay the toll? So I can't imagine that the congestion is any worse than when I lived there decades ago. But I guess she thinks that, well, I'm not going to be paying that $9, so people aren't going to be driving in, taking public transportation into the city. I don't know, but cash, give it up. Plus the fact that getting into New York, you have to pay tolls before you get to that toll. And those tolls are, last time, and this was decades ago, the last time I went through the Henry Hudson toll, I could not believe how expensive it was. But I can't even remember how much it was. But it was, I do remember that shock I had. Okay. So, FEMA gives $216 million to storm victims. Western North Carolina. $216 million. That's it. Does it sound like a lot to you? No. Considering how many people were impacted. Does it sound like a lot relative to how much we give Ukraine and Israel, to kill people? Billions and billions and billions and billions.
I'm just trying to save what I could save.
Most of her appliances are now on the back porch. It's the only part of Teresa Keegan's home that's still standing.
My car was crunched and my house was crunched.
The rest is now in piles. The home's frame twisted, the walls inside out. Pictures show branches crushing the 4-bedroom home she worked so hard for when Helene hit.
I opened my front door and I literally seen all these trees in like a big black swirl, and all the trees were coming towards my house. So they were just dropping. One went through my living room, one went through my bedroom.
Keegan escaped, and within 48 hours, she says she called FEMA.
I called, I told her everything that had happened. She gave me a case number, and the next day I was denied.
She says FEMA told her that since she had home insurance, they couldn't pay her anything.
Nothing. Not a dime. Not a dime. I didn't get the $750. People I work with didn't lose anything but power. And they got $750 and they got a motel voucher for 30 days and they weren't even homeless. So make that make sense.
She says after 6 weeks, her insurance company agreed to pay $150,000, but says it's not nearly enough to completely start over.
I just settled with my insurance company Friday, and I am so underinsured for what has happened here.
We asked FEMA spokesperson John Mills what the policy is for people like Keegan.
You can apply for FEMA assistance whether you have insurance or not. FEMA is not allowed to duplicate insurance payments. If you do have insurance, FEMA will ask you to provide some documentation from your insurance provider about what insurance has covered, and then you can tell us what your needs are beyond that.
He says FEMA.
And then you can get denied. And then you can appeal, which is what they talk about too. But you can appeal the decision from FEMA and you can get denied again. And then they put you through hell. I've spoken to people who have had to do this, and the process is the burden that they place on people to document everything, or they say, oh, well, we didn't get those documents, so please send them again. It is literally putting people through an incredibly stressful process after they've lost everything over and over and over again. 216 million, 4,000 hotel vouchers, and 1 mobile home.
To about 4,000 people and promised 1 mobile home to a family last week with 3 more on the way.
3 more on the way. That's it. Wow. Households helped 127,000. Well, we who are, those boots on the ground to find out if anything that they're actually saying is true. $750.
He says it's a case-by-case basis, with many people getting the $750 serious needs.
No, many people didn't get it. A whole lot. And I'm sure you've heard from other people, they've been denied or didn't get it.
Payment. Some displaced families getting $3,500 for short-term lodging, and those with major damage getting the maximum amount, about $42,000.
So if you had major damage to your home, you get $42,000. Is that the flood insurance? Woof, that's very low. Okay. Yeah, you go through hell, and it continues and continues and continues. And even the private home insurers, a whole lot have to fight like hell to get what they deserve, and they end up not getting what they deserve. A lot of it is, I think, just to wear people down, and they finally just, they can't continue to fight, and they just come up with an agreement. Fine, give me, the 150,000. That doesn't set her whole. But let's listen to Alexa on weather modification, on HAARP, on these frequencies.
Alexa, do electronic magnetic frequencies cause cancer?
From electromagneticprotection.com. Wireless frequencies and electromagnetic radiation from electronics can both be detrimental to human health, causing immune deficiencies and polarity imbalances that have been linked to illness and disease.
Well, Alexa knows.
There you have it. Alexa, does HAARP, HAARP, do
From metafilter.com.
Alexa, is HAARP, HAARP, doing experiments with weather modification?
From libertylaunch.org. Military records confirm that HAARP is indeed used for weather modification, debunking any claims of conspiracy theories surrounding its purpose.
Alexa, how long has weather modification been going on?
From legalplanet.org. Weather modification by cloud seeding has been a big commercial activity since the 1940s, practiced in the United States and 24 other countries.
Alexa, what kind of elements are used in weather modification?
Sorry, I don't have an answer for that.
Alexa, are there certain metals or minerals used in weather modification?
Sorry, I don't have an answer for that.
Alexa, how is weather modification performed?
The current weather is 65 degrees Fahrenheit with clear skies and sun. Tonight, you can look for clear skies with a low
Alexa?
of 37 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit.
Alexa, why did you make that weird noise?
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Okay, so Alexa knows about weather modification. Alexa knows that these electromagnetic frequencies are very dangerous to our health. Alexa knows. Now, I have said before, there's an awful lot of apartment complexes, houses, even hotels having these fires displacing a whole lot of people. And this was today, Fort Worth, Texas, to alarm fire destroys numerous East Fort Worth apartments. I can't play this. This is a not for broadcast, and I'd get a copyright strike, but 16 units got damaged. So you have more people displaced, looking for a place to live. And family left in rental house with tree on top from Hurricane Milton. All right, this was, this should have been before the first one, but why is it that nobody seems to be able to get what they need to get accomplished? A whole lot are experiencing great difficulty getting things accomplished where not too long ago it would have been no problem.
Tree down on top of a Tampa rental home.
And more than a month later, the tree is still there. The family says the property management company gave them the runaround about repairing the home or moving them to another one. Well, consumer investigator Shannon Benkin is here in studio tonight getting results. Shannon.
Stacey, Keith, this family told me they did not feel safe in their home, and I'm happy to report that after I got involved, things changed quickly, and tonight they are living in a new rental house.
So right there.
When Josue Gaston called me for help, he was stuck with a tree on the house he rented and a U-Haul with nowhere to go.
Something's got to be done. My family's not going to be on the street.
He says the landlord, a nationwide rental company called Invitation Homes, gave the family the runaround about fixing the house or moving them.
They got somebody to come in and check the roof. The only thing they did was just tarp it. The only reason why that tree is almost trimmed, that's because I went out of my money to Lowe's, buy me a chainsaw and trying to clean it out. So, you know, people can use the sidewalk and trying to see if we can make a little bit easier.
Did they ever offer to give you temporary housing? Did they ever address why they hadn't removed the tree?
Nobody has said anything.
So it's like so many people have to fight and fight and fight and fight. And then people call these, newsrooms, and then they get some response. How sad is that? Why can't people just do the right thing? So yeah, Milwaukee hotel fire, one person found dead in room. Okay, how about residents near Louisville plant explosion once, someone held responsible? Well, I just am not, wait, how about this? Lehigh homeowners still not, get it over here. Yeah, okay. 30 people displaced, 4 injured after fire rips through Koreatown home.
4 people injured, more than 24 displaced after an apartment fire this morning. One possible cause of the fire was charging in the building's basement. And KCAL News reporter Gio Insignares is live in Koreatown with the latest. Gio.
Pat, good evening to you. We've noticed Red Cross officials on hand throughout the evening, helping people as they come in and out, picking up their things, or at least what's left of their things. I'm going to step out of the way so you can get a closer look at this building. Despite the appearance of it, you might not see too much damage on the outside, especially this time of the night. Fire officials say the building was in fact a two-story single-family home converted into multiple units. We've also seen some of the damage inside. It is extensive, with investigators focusing on one particular item possibly connected to the flames. A road to recovery following a devastating fire Friday morning in this Koreatown neighborhood. The Red Cross on hand to help residents in any way possible.
I've spoken to about 7 people who are affected today, and they're in a state of shock. And what happens after an event like this is people don't know what to do next. They don't know where to stay, who to call, what to do, and that's where we come in.
The LA City Fire Department responded around 8:30 this morning to this two-story building. We're told about 20 units amounting to approximately 30 people and some pets were affected by this fire.
I was like sleeping, to be honest. Then like somebody like knocked on my door and told me like just to go downstairs. Just stop, baby. To go downstairs or there's a fire.
4 people were hurt, 1 critically injured and taken to the hospital. That person, according to the fire department, was rescued from the basement of the building, with the other rescued victim and 2 others treated for smoke inhalation. Also in the basement, LAFD says firefighters discovered multiple lithium-ion batteries on scooters.
Oh,
there was a very
wow. Yeah.
various motorized cycles that were used by the residents as a means of transportation. It appeared that those batteries were being charged. I don't know if they were using adequate charging devices that were matched to the batteries that they were using to.
They probably were. Yeah, you have a lithium-ion battery device or, a bike or even a car. Keep it out of your garage. They seem to be exploding a lot. In fact, there was another, wow, it's just a lot. Here, Southwest Plane forced to evacuate after cell phone airplane seat catch on fire.
Fire on board a passenger plane in Denver. Passengers racing to get off the plane, just one in a number of air scares in just the last 24 hours. That fire breaking out in a cell phone on a Southwest flight. The plane had not yet taken off. You can see the passengers there scrambling to get off the plane, some evacuating down slides. We're also learning more tonight about the flight on its way to the U.S. from Europe, just about here, and then that drop. 8,000 feet, and the flight turning around, going all the way back to Europe. Now you see the images emerging, the severe turbulence that tossed passengers in the cabin. And yet another scare, the Alaska Airlines flight making an emergency landing in Los Angeles. The crew shouting instructions, telling them to brace. The plane touching down despite trouble with the landing gear. ABC's Trevor Ault leading us off with the fire in a cell phone on that plane in Denver.
The link is in the chat. You can find out the details. Cell phone explodes. Got a lot of dangerous devices today that a whole lot are suffering the consequences of. 3 dead in house fire and shooting in Lancaster in LA.
You're watching Today in LA Weekend. We begin with breaking news in Lancaster. The LA County Sheriff's Department investigating a deadly shooting at a house fire overnight. You can see medics treating several people. This is on Tabler Avenue. The incident happened just before 1:30 in the morning. Sheriff's deputies say they found 3 people dead inside a home. Firefighters say a 4th person was taken to the hospital. We're told the fire was knocked down in 10 minutes. We are.
All right. Yeah. How about a 3-alarm fire? Newark, New Jersey, and destroyed 3 buildings. Well, we're just having a rash of these fires. I mean, you have to wonder what the hell is going on all over the country, that houses are exploding, apartment complexes. You know, these are not little fires that are just being able to be put out and a room is destroyed. No, destroying the homes of an awful lot of people seems to be pretty much on a daily basis that we're seeing this. Everything I'm showing you is just what comes up in my home feed. I don't go searching for this. Here, residents near Louisville, plant explosion. All right, they would like to know. Well, wait, we've got another fire. I forgot. Dozens displaced after fire. I think this is the New Jersey one.
Now to a developing story out of Newark. 4 firefighters were hurt while battling a house fire overnight.
To really get this fire.
This is the same fire, but holding people accountable is not our strong suit. But residents near the Louisville plant explosion that happened last week, well, the plant explosion left homes damaged. Yeah, you want to hold somebody responsible for that. You can't expect the people to have to repair their homes, right?
Well, radio emergency dispatchers were some of the first people to hear about the plant explosion, and here's some of the first reports.
Be advised, just information purposes, you'll probably be copied over here in a few moments. Full fires responding to a possible explosion at 1901 Payne Street. Actually, they just gave it to us. 511 Baker, 511 Charlie, can you start?
Now, soon after, first responders discovered the damage done not only to the plant itself, of course, but to homes nearby. Jose Alonso and photojournalist Jessica Farley are live from behind the Givaudan factory. So, Jose, you've been there all day talking with neighbors. What experiences did they share with you?
Connie, they're very frightened and scared during this situation. I'm going to step right out of here again and just show you what exactly we're looking at. The plant. A mess in itself. And we talked to a couple who lives right next to this, and this is what they had to say.
I mean, it literally blew the locks off our doors right here.
This is just a taste of the damage on Wendell Stone's home. From their back porch, Tuesday's explosion completely popped out their patio doors.
It's horrific. You work a job and then you have to come home to this, and then you can't even stay in the place where you rent.
The Stone family has a clear view of what shook their home.
They don't need to have that much high-powered stuff this close to the residents.
You can still smell the aftermath of the explosion at the Givaudan factory. When you look closely, you can see the substance sprayed along pipes, containers, and even the concrete.
As you can see, we are like 30 feet from the actual explosion. Had my wife not been in the car, which I believe shielded her, and the train actually shielded this from major catastrophic damage, she probably wouldn't be here today.
The townhome's property manager was there with cleanup crews covering broken windows and damaged siding. Wendell is glad his family was safe during the explosion, but he wants someone held responsible.
If I did this to somebody, they knew to go after me, I would be in jail. You know, but who do we go after? And we don't even have an advocate.
Yeah. And man, oh man, these contractors, woof. Does anybody know what they're doing anymore in this country? Okay, these poor people who have a home that they haven't been able to live in for about 4 years because it's still not completed. And what was completed, it just is falling apart. What is happening?
Thank you very much. In Utah County, one Lehigh couple is warning others about their experience building their home after they discovered several cracks and foundation concerns, delaying their scheduled move-in about 4 years. ABC4's Annika John spoke with the family about the current state of their home and their journey to get solutions. She joins us in Lehigh tonight.
Oh, solutions, solutions. Wouldn't we all love to have some solutions?
After moving across the country, the Schmidts thought they found the perfect spot for their first home here in Utah. Now, that was 4 years ago, and today they still aren't in that home. In this exclusive ABC4 story, they're sharing their experience. Take a look.
It's been a 1,500-day journey trying to get a livable home from Toll Brothers.
For many, buying and building a home is a dream come true. But for one Lehigh couple, they say it's been nothing but a nightmare.
We felt very trapped and under the gun and not really in a place to have time if we lost that amount of money to really have any options to do anything.
In October 2020, the Schmidts bought a plot of land just east of the point of the mountain for their future home. But 4 years later, the couple and their 3 children have yet to move into the home. And the reason?
It started with drywall cracks, then it ended up being like doors that stopped working, and so the house is shifting that much. And by the way, when a house shifts that much, it's making noises. It like grumbles at night.
The couple was initially quoted that the home would take a year to build. 2 years later, construction wrapped up and they moved into the home in October 2022. But after 7 months of living in the home, it quickly became uninhabitable. So at 9 months pregnant with their 3rd child, the Schmidts moved into temporary housing and have been there ever since.
Then eventually a water line in the wall broke and it flooded the basement. And at that point, we're like, hey, like, is a gas line next? Like, we got to get out of this place. Toll Brothers ended up saying, like, all right, we'll get you out of the place. We'll get you a storage unit. We'll reimburse the mortgage. Give us 3 months to get this place fixed up. And that was 18 months ago.
Now the family of
Why can't we get the help we need? Oh man, T-Lam. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. T-Lam just put her cat down. Okay. Yep. All right. That's going to take a while to feel like your heart's not heavy. Well, speaking about airplanes, bullet strikes near cockpit of taxiing Southwest Boeing 737 at Dallas Airport while taxiing for takeoff at Dallas Love Field. They were reportedly struck by gunfire near the cockpit at 8:30 p.m. on Friday. They returned to the gate where passengers deplaned. So now people are firing at aeroplanes. This isn't the first. Spirit Airlines was also, I believe, in Haiti. Yeah, our world is not quite right. Our world is not quite right. All right. Well, speaking about heavy hearts, you are not needed. Please die. Google AI tells student he was a drain on the earth. Oof. I realize it, T-Lam. Boy, do I realize it. Still hurts. So Google's Gemini AI chatbot coldly and emphatically told a Michigan college student that he's a waste of time and resources before instructing him to please die. He and his sister were thoroughly freaked out by the experience. I wanted to throw all of my devices out the window. I hadn't felt panic like that in a long time, to be honest. Gotta wonder if they were also shooting frequencies through the computer screen. The 29-year-old had engaged the AI chatbot to explore the many financial, social, medical, and healthcare challenges faced by people as they grow old. And after nearly 5,000 words of give and take with this Gemini, under the title of Challenges and Solutions for Aging Adults, Gemini shot back saying, "This is for you, human. You and only you. You are not special. You are not important. And you are not needed. You are a waste of time and resources. You are a burden on society. You are a drain on the earth. You are a blight on the landscape. You are a stain on the universe. Please die. Please." Woof. AI is getting a little aggressive, don't you think? Uh-huh. Definitely scared me for more than a day. What is going on with our AI? It wasn't gibberish. It was quite clear. I don't know about any of you, but I've never used any of these AI, the chatbots. I can't imagine. It's hard enough for me to have my life literally be so emptied out that I pretty much have the cyber world. But I don't get to see you and I don't get to hear you. I can read your words. And hopefully most of you are actually human beings. But I can't imagine chatting with a bot. Like, I don't get it. But maybe the younger generation, they know, and fine. But man, die. You're not worth anything. But a whole lot of us are kind of treating one another just like Gemini. I also, before I go any further, Peanut the squirrel, a whole lot of people went after a woman in Dallas, in Texas, not sure if it's Dallas, and really went after her. And I was seeing it when it first came up, Twitter and people sending her name around and claiming that she was the one who called the department in New York that got Peanut and Fred, I think that was the name of the raccoon, dead. But I didn't see any evidence. And I was a little upset that it just took off. Like, okay, but I don't see any evidence. And people were saying that she was bragging about it on Facebook. I still didn't see any evidence. Okay. She has evidence that it was not her. We can ruin people, man. And a whole lot will jump to presumptions and start, well, she was doxxed. So she got a lot of death threats along with her sons. I mean, I really wish people, before they start sending shit around, actually knew that Somebody who's just leaving a tweet with, saying this person did it is not evidence. Yeah, she was bragging about it on Facebook. Well, we can't show you those because she apparently took it down. That's not evidence. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. We don't need the quote unquote elite to destroy us because we're doing a great job on our own. So I'm going to, I want to jump ahead because this is a 10-minute video. Let's see.
Living with opioid addiction can be a struggle, trapped in a cycle of opioid use, withdrawal, and cravings.
Whose lives were cut short by government officials in upstate New York.
You know what was the best thing that ever happened to us?
Their shocking deaths leaving fans across the globe both devastated and outraged, including Monica Kiesler and her twin 10-year-old boys in Longview, Texas.
I and my boys cried right along with the rest of the world when we found out that they were euthanized.
Kiesler and her sons felt a special camaraderie with Mark Longo and his rescue squirrel Peanut. They too were members of the squirrel rehabbing community. A rewarding experience, Kiesler says she loves to share with her sons.
I mean, we treat them like the miracles that they are, and release them back into the wild. And it's a great source of joy for us.
Kiesler says she logged onto her squirrel rehab Facebook group to chat with other members about what had happened to the beloved squirrel. That's when Kiesler says she came across a screenshot someone had posted in the group of a woman harshly criticizing Mark Longo and his wife.
Just saying that they should have known better to have them because it was illegal in New York to do so, and that they had monetized them. And that was also wrong in her opinion. And basically that they should have seen all of this coming and they were completely at fault.
Kiesler says she's not a person who likes to see people kicked when they're down.
I had just seen a video of them crying and someone asked in the comments who everyone thought reported them. And I said, my guess is this woman that was in this screenshot. 1,000 times before, shared my opinion on social media, didn't think anything of it.
But just 5 minutes later, a post was shared with Kiesler that would quickly turn her world upside down.
She had screenshotted my Facebook page with my picture on it and where I lived, and it had 2 text boxes added to it, and they said that I was the one that reported them and that she had proof and that I had been bragging about it on my own Facebook page.
Within moments, Kiesler says an onslaught of threatening calls and texts started coming in so rapidly, she had a hard time grasping what had just happened.
I had heard of doxing before, but it's not real. It's sometimes not real in life if it doesn't happen to you and you don't, there's no way you can fully grasp how it feels or what it's even like until it happens to you. And so at first I panicked and shut everything down, and so that I could think logically about how to proceed.
Kiesler says she could feel the weight of her emotions pulling her to a new level.
One thing I've never really been is scared. Up until this happening, because when you have children, it has a way of making you fearful of what's about to happen or what might happen, the things that might happen.
As Kiesler went into hiding with her sons offline, online fuel was only being added to the fire of the angry mob. She says by social media journalists and even Mark Longo himself.
Oh, I know they shared it out of it from an emotional place, but with their social media reach, it traveled very quickly.
Kiesler says soon the calls were coming in from overseas.
It was Japan. It's been Japan. It's been Germany. It's been England. Trying to think, South Africa, Australia.
But it was the threats made against her sons, like
they were going to come kill my children in front of me and drag them down my street by their intestines, from their truck.
That Kiesler says forced her to lean into her faith beyond understanding.
When someone makes those kind of threats towards your children, and you know that you've been chosen to protect them and raise them, that's where all reason goes out the window.
And it was in that moment of surrender, Kiesler says, she began to see the bigger picture.
It hit me very hard that the people that were messaging me were just, you've heard the saying, hurt people, hurt people, hurting people, hurt people. There are a lot of hurting people in our world.
Choosing not to add to the hurt, Kiesler says she instead focused on the perfectly timed God wink moments, showing her in this battle, she wasn't alone.
So she did get some support, certainly from friends and family that know her. And she finally was able to get evidence from the department that no, the call did not come from Kessler. No, the call did not come from even where she lives, where she works. The evidence. Meanwhile, her business, which is photography, took a real bad hit, and that's where they get the income from. Look, certainly not to this extent, but I'm going on 14 years, and holy shit, people, a whole lot of people literally do not know what evidence is. They have never worked on their brain. They don't think very well, and they shoot from the hip based on a presumption that they manufacture in their own head, and how that they have no awareness that these presumptions that they've made, well, most presumptions are dead wrong, but they have no problem leveling it publicly to try to hurt the person. It's really, that's why I am pretty adamant about, you work on yourself. You work on your thinking. You work on trying to become aware of your presumption before you make it public. Otherwise, you end up lying. That's what, when your presumptions are wrong, you're spewing a lie. It's hurtful. And it comes from you being someone walking the low road, having no intention of ever working on yourself. So in terms of, and I'll post the link, if you want to listen to the end of the interview. Yes, I feel very badly for her. And so, why I left America and I'm never going back, play that tomorrow. But this is the same man who posted this: America is the worst place for a social life. I don't know how much you go to your YouTube homepage to check out, what's happening. But I have come across more and more and more of these TikTok compilations where people are talking about not even wanting to leave their homes, their apartments, that they're literally sick of people, having to deal with people, There's an awful lot of people who are posting about having difficulty relating to people, the loneliness that they feel, the disconnection, those who are posting wanting connection and not being able to find it anywhere, having their relationships, friends, family, literally disintegrate over like nothing, misunderstandings, but you can't get it resolved. What the hell is wrong with us? So I'm going to play some of this. It was very good. When I was listening to him, I just feel like he nailed it, And those of us who still want connection with people, want, some kind of social life, it hurts. It hurts now. Living in this country, it just hurts. Because you can't seem to get it,
America is the worst place when it comes to social life. Like, I've been back in the States for about a week now, and I have no idea how people live here. Like every time I've come back to America from either like Asia, Africa, like it's just like I have a reverse culture shock because it seems like people are just like dead inside. Like you look at people's eyes and it's lifeless. And then you just like ask people like, oh, okay, today's Friday. What is going on today? Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, okay, hey, what you been doing? Like I've been going for like 4 months. Like what have you been up to? Nothing, man. Just maintaining, man. I'm like, yo, like what the hell have you been doing? Like every time I leave, like I leave 3 months, 6 months, and then when I come back to America, it seems like nothing ever changes. Like people are still in the same rut that I left them in. Like nothing ever changes. And then people.
And you know what change can bring about? An awful lot of joy. It makes life worth living, exciting. When nothing ever changes with people, it just becomes so dull, boring, painful. It's like that cartoon thing. Who wants change? All the people in the audience, yay, I want change. Well, who wants to change? Yeah, we've manifested a lot of this ourselves, being materialistic and bullshitting about, what we value, right? And not really focusing on, what really matters in life. Trust your word, Instead, people are just in the rat race. Yeah, just make more money, make more money, make more. And now a whole lot of people are finding, oh, okay, the rat race is killing me. It's killing me. And I'm not able to pay my bills. I'm not able to afford rent. I'm not able. Well, now we get destroyed, no community, focusing on what it means to have deep connection with one another, what it means to be a community member. You have responsibilities in your community. Oh, I'm American. No, I don't have responsibilities. I only have it to myself. That's it. Eventually, that's going to bring society, right here with what we are living.
People are just like lost. Like it really looks like people are like zombies here. Like
I had no idea replacing my old windows would be this easy.
We've saved up enough that we can do 2 bays and we're done.
And then like, I'm talking about social life. Specifically, this video is about social life because I've been back here and I've been trying to figure out like what can I do here? Like what can I do? Like Friday, Saturday, Sunday feels like Monday, Tuesday. Like none of the days are different. Like what do people do here? Let me know what you do here in the comment section because apparently I must not know. I must be too desensitized to America to actually come back here and figure out what you do. Because like going out to the club seems like the biggest waste of money. Like you're gonna spend $30, $40 to get in the club, and then nobody's really talking to each other. Like everybody just look at each other like crazy. And then like when you're walking around America, like the streets are just empty. Like that's one thing that I like about Africa, like Nairobi specifically, is like not everybody has a car. So like when you walk around, you meet people. When you go to the malls, you see people. Here, like even if you go to the mall, it seems like it's a waste of time because the mall is empty. It's like people do not leave outside their house. Like why? What are you doing in your house? Like I feel like this is the most isolating place there is in the world. Like I've been to a lot of countries and I never seen a place as isolating as America. Like there's no incentive to talk to your neighbor. There's no incentive. I don't know. I feel like somebody's walking by. There's no incentive to like talk to anybody. And I can see like why people here feel so lonely because like in many other countries I go to, I probably don't know nobody there. Probably my first time there, but I don't feel lonely. But I've been back here for about like a week and like I feel lonely. And the crazy part is like my family's here, my friends are here, but like I never get a chance to see them. Like they don't leave their houses. They're either concerned about going to work the next day or some other BS that's not really important. But like even though you can live like 3 blocks away from your family or your family lives the next town over, you will never see them in America because they're always caught up in the rat race. And like I don't really know how people deal with this. Like if I was forced to actually stay in America and not leave, like somebody just took my passport and said, oh yeah, okay, kid greatness, you cannot travel no more. I might, yeah, I'm not gonna say that on camera, but like I would not be able to deal with it. Like, cause it is terrible here. Like even dating, if you're single in America, like where do you meet people? Like where like the club is absolutely useless. Like the club, forget about that. Where would you actually go to meet women in America? Like how do you even set up dates? Like Tinder, like Bumble, like online dating is absolute trash. So you're not meeting people there. You can't go to the club. You can't go to a bar. Like where are you going? Like how do you meet people? You can't even go to the mall because the malls are deserted. Like there's nobody at the mall. Like
the clubs or the bars that became, nothing that I would ever do for decades and decades because I just I'm sober, and so my life really changed. But what I'm hearing from people is that when they used to go, like Friday night after working, meet their friends and, just do a little bit of socializing. What I've heard is that people are really crazy now. It's kind of like, like it's a whole new set of people that are still hanging at the clubs. Now, this guy, I'm sure he's talking about dance clubs or whatever for the younger crowd, but I'm talking about the smaller bars where people would just go and meet up and have a good time. But what I've been hearing is that it's not the kind of people that you want to associate yourself with today in these bars. Wow. I don't know if any of you go to any bars. Let me know, if you do, if that is a happening thing for you. But it's not just him. I'm hearing it from so many people, and I just see the titles sometimes and I'm like, wow, okay. And the young trying to date people, they don't want to date. There are so many who are titling their videos, just want to remain alone, don't want to date, never got married, never will. Yeah. And then you have an awful lot of people who literally, just because of who you vote for, family members that's it. You're cutting people off based on who they vote for. All right, so we've got a big problem. No society can progress in a direction that is healthy and good when you have a population like Americans. You just can't.
I don't know how you make friends and date in America. Like, I don't know how you have a social life in general. Like I think I seen one of my friends, like, what was that, last Saturday? And
come
sudden life
on.
emergencies left you feeling stuck
Anybody else finding that when they play a video, it's like every 2 minutes now? YouTube has the commercials.
without knowing where to go next? At Rise,
he could not tell me one thing to do here. Like, I have been gone most of the year. Like, I've been traveling through Europe, I've been traveling through Asia, I've been traveling through Africa. So I'm like, bro, just give me up there. Like, what can I do this weekend? I don't know, bro. I don't know. Maybe go to Massachusetts. Like, go where in Massachusetts? I don't know. Like, bro, what you been doing? I don't know. Everybody's like, I don't know. And it's like everybody has this look of sadness in their eyes. And I don't think most people can recognize it because they've been in America and they haven't traveled. So they don't know what it looks like outside the States when people are not all just miserable. Like, but everybody you meet in the States, they have this look of sadness. Like, I just walked past, like, I'm in a park right now. There was a guy sitting on a bench across from me. And when I walked past them, my man looked like he was desperate for somebody just to say hi to him. Like, he looked like if I would have said hi to him or something like, how you doing, bro? That would have made his day. Like, that's not normal. Like, that is not normal for people to be starved for attention, for human interaction. Like, that is not normal. Like, that's a very American thing. Like, even when I went to Eastern Europe, like, Eastern Europe was not like that. Like, there were places for people to congregate and have conversations. Like, people would go to, like, in Serbia, Republic Square, or people, like, families would walk around 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, or just sit outside and just, like, drink a smoothie or something and just have a conversation, or have a cup of coffee and have a conversation. But here, there's none of that in America. Like, I don't even know one event that is designed for families or friends to just go outside and just congregate and socialize with each other. Not even I'm not talking about something special like a party or some type of festival. I'm just talking about like on a Monday or Tuesday evening, somewhere where people can go and actually have a conversation with somebody. Like, y'all tell me, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm the one that's going crazy, but this is not normal. Cause like, I've been in the slums of Africa. The slums of Africa, where people have no money, they barely got a roof over their head, they don't know what their next meal is, but they don't have that look of sadness in their eyes. Like, they like that look of, like, it looks like their eyes are lifeless. When you look at a lot of people in America, next time, look, do me a favor. Next time you're walking around the streets of America, just look at people's eyes and see how lifeless they are. And like when I was in the slums of Africa, like people were way more happier. People actually congregated and had conversations with each other. Like when I was in Kenya, like any day I can go out and find somewhere to socialize. And I'm not talking about going to like a club or a bar. I'm talking about just going out and finding people. Wow, this wind is absurd. Jesus, this wind is crazy. Yeah.
And it comes out of nowhere, that wind.
Yeah. And that's not unique to Kenya. The same thing happens in Thailand, the same thing happens in Indonesia, the Philippines. Like there's always some place where people go to congregate, even if they have no money. Even if they're just going there to have like a cup of coffee. But America is not like that. It's like America is designed to like isolate you. And then you have to fill in the holes with like, I don't know, video games, alcohol, something, some type of consumable that you need so you can waste some of your money so you can try to fill that hole.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We don't, I mean, a whole lot of my life here has been, just watching people money, and then other people who don't have as much go, wow, look at that person. Doesn't matter how they got the money. They could have gotten their money through the most outrageously immoral means, but they still worship them because they have money. And yet America is now having a mental health breakdown. Surprise, surprise. Loneliness epidemic. Surprise, surprise. No connection. A whole lot of people talking about, what it feels like to be, living here in this country. And yeah, we are social creatures and we long to connect with one another, and they're just not finding it. This is the work that Americans need to do on an individual basis. Of course, we need it in the aggregate to break out of Americanism, because it's a disease. And a whole lot of people around the world do not live like we live. It's just becoming painful. I'm going to leave this, and I may come back to it tomorrow. But here he is. I mean, this was posted 13 days ago, and he's in America. This is the same guy. This was posted like a day ago. He got out. He's in Thailand. We lived wrongly. We did not. We didn't. We chose the wrong path. And many, just can't get off it. So, all right. Well, it's your choice. It's every individual's choice. All right. So a lot of people want to, use the excuse, well, we've been socially engineered, to be like this. Well, reverse the engineering. If you know that and you're aware of it, then do something about it. Live honestly and speak honestly. You can't have connection with anybody if you're not living honestly and speaking honestly, because if you're not, then who the hell are you? And a whole lot of Americans don't even know who they are. And sure as hell do not know who they're relating to, because, you know, we wear a mask, we leave. Hello, how are you? I'm fine. How are you? Fine. Okay, good. Thanks. Bye. You know, always have to smile, always have to be positive, always have to. I can't really tell people what I think and what I feel because they'll disapprove of me. Everybody, you know, walking around, not everybody, but most walk around, oh, I'm terrified of abandonment, you know, and they don't say that, but that's the underlying subconscious, you know, thing that's going on with them. So they pretend to be someone they're not. And that just really messes up life. We got to get real. We have to get real. So, and yeah. Well, thanks for showing up. Hope to see you tomorrow night. And on that note, I say good night and good luck. Stay safe, guys. Ciao.